Aloha, and welcome to the Jewelers You Should Know podcast, where you get an insider's look into building, running, and growing a fine jewelry business. I'm your host, Robbie Haddad, and I'm the founder of Gem Tech Jewelry Marketing and Automation, a jeweler-owned marketing agency for local jewelers like us. I grew up in this industry, and my family personally owns two local fine jewelry businesses, one in Massachusetts and one in Hawaii. In this episode, we sit down with Daniel Cazares from Don Victor Jewelers, a family-owned jewelry business with two locations in California, who recently made Inc. 5000's list of fastest growing companies. They are a true rags to riches story, and you'll hear how they've centered their marketing around community. They're innovating using AI and automation, and how they went from devastating loss and only a handful of family members to a dedicated team of more than 15 employees and growing in just a few years. All right, here we are, Jewelers. You should know we have Daniel Cazares here with me from Don Victor Jewelers, one of my favorite guys that I've gotten to know over the last couple, maybe like 2 years or so, but getting to know his business a little bit, and having worked with him, he's really an amazing guy. And the business that they have, I'm so excited for Daniel to be able to talk to us about what it is that they do, what makes them different, what their passions are, where they find their vision for their business going in the future, and also kind of the amazing things that they've worked on. So, Daniel, it's great to have you on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robbie. Also look up to you, so thank you for the kind words.
Thanks so much, man. So yeah, let's just dive right in. For those who don't know Don Victor Jewelers, give us a rundown. What's the business like? How to get started? Give us like a 5-minute intro into who you guys are and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. So my parents started in 1990. They were both working at a store, not together, and ended up, saying we're the perfect match. They got married and they went ahead and opened their own store. So they got started, and it was not easy, right? So we can talk about the ups and downs without getting too detailed, but I think they had like 3 or 4 stores burned down, multiple robberies. It's definitely been, they've just, but they have the love for what they do. They have the passion, and that kept moving them forward. I like to say that in a lot of families, when things get tough, families break. I think in our family, when things got tough, we just got more united. Up until 2010, we had a huge robbery, 7 figures, lost everything, and had to start from scratch. So had to build everything again, ground up, started from scratch. Dad sat the family down and said, "It's up to you guys, Mom and Dad. We can retire, or we can jump right back in and pour everything back into it." Not the best not the best economy, and we wanted to start in a new city, so. We all said, well, we lost our house, cars, etc. Let's just put all the money back into the business. And we did. Best decision we've ever made. And
that's scary. Yeah. That's amazing. I had no idea.
Yeah, I know, right? We're starting the podcast off with a big boom.
Oh man, I had no idea.
Not to make it a sad story at all. It's everything happens for a reason. And honestly, I think it's looking back at it now, it's the best thing that's ever happened, because we reunited. Our family got closer than ever. Our passion, our love is there. It's more transparent than it's ever been. So we had to just restart from scratch. And, the love of our community, they followed us. We've had, clients drive hours away. We've had clients that shopped with us for 30 years, and their kids are now shopping with us. And, support we felt was there. And things have been going great. We serve the Hispanic community mostly, but with digital innovation, we've been able to really expand beyond that, and really help people out nationally and, grow our business.
That's so cool. I mean, so, you said 3 stores burned down. Did you say 3 or 4 stores burned down?
Yeah. Yeah. Burned down. And the big one was, really, you would say the burning the stores, those were all starting from scratch. But this.
But really, the
recent one, we say 2010, but it really feels like it was, not that long ago.
That's happened. Yeah, no, that's incredible. We had a couple thefts in our store growing up, and I remember being like rocked by it. Nothing close to what you guys did, and to be at the bottom and to say, we're not starting from like, we know what we're doing, we know how to run a successful business, but we could, like your parents said, they could just retire right now. What was it like for them to come back into it, and to, instead of going to retirement like they could have, for them to pour into the family and to to see this thing about 15 years later to see the success that it is now. What's that like for them?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely come full circle. I would say that at that moment, you really realize, is this just something that you're doing, or is this something that you truly love, something that's beyond, just making a living, beyond, anything that's materialistic, really. To just go your back against the wall, know that what you're offering is good, and that the people that you have a community that supports you, that loves you, that you can't let them down. You can't just close your doors and say, I'm retiring. It's really, I think that's really what it was, right? It was our community. We couldn't just close our doors. And it really shined bright in our family more than ever. We knew we loved this. We knew we wanted to do it, but at that moment, now looking back and at that moment, we knew that this is what we had to do.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you definitely put your money where your mouth was. And, they say where you put your treasure, that's where your heart follows. And you guys, like you said, you sold your cars or the cars were gone, the houses were gone, and you guys poured it into this. And it's for the love of the community. I'd love for you guys to touch on the love of the community. Maybe we can tie that in with you guys made Inc. 5000. That's really cool. I mean, I talked about that's really cool. That was last year. Is that right? You guys made Inc.
Yes,
5.
last year.
Um, what was that like for you guys? But then also, like, what would contribute to that? Because you're talking about you guys came through this crisis of what happened in 2010, and then you decided like we're really going to pour into this with all of our passion, all of our hearts, and now you're at the point where you're making these like business growth lists that are very reputable. What would you say contributed to you guys making that? And then again, what was that like for you guys to get that award?
Say time after time, let's say the robbery, and now we're going to talk about COVID 2020, right?
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay.
because time after time we came back, and in any situation it's always about the community, it's always about your client, that experience. We noticed, especially when that robbery happened, and when 2020 hit, where people weren't able to see each other, we weren't able to interact with our clients the way we're used to. We just, as soon as COVID ended, we went into events, we went into experience, we went into connecting with our clients, calling them. Definitely every time it's their birthday, every time it's a special moment, anything that we can do, any excuse we get, we invite our clients to our stores. We have catering, we have live music, we have mechanical bulls, dancing
Yeah, I've
horses.
seen that. I love seeing that come through. Gemtech, I'm like, oh, we got a mechanical bull. I'm like, telling the team, like, you guys see what they're doing over here? I don't know any other store that's taking a mechanical bull and taking it in front of their store. And then you see the pictures later on. And it's like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we like to just, we've noticed that that's what's needed. That's really what needed. It's
Mm.
beyond the jewelry. I mean, it's really beyond the product. It's not about selling jewelry. It's about that's what that jewelry represents, right?
Mm.
That identity with that piece of jewelry and where they got it in that story. So I would say that was our biggest thing. Time after time, we had these events, and honestly, it's shown. It's shown to bring more clients in, I guess, and I guess in turn, right? In turn, we've seen the support just grow even more by bringing it into our community. So
Yeah, I mean, you give people a reason to get to know each other, to become better friends with one another. It's a thing that people definitely remember and they look forward to. So I even see. So yeah, let's talk about because when you guys are launching those campaigns, I see that you guys do it in English and in Spanish. Is that right?
that's correct.
Right. So in your software, I mean, you must have like a tag that separates people from like Spanish speaking to English speaking, correct?
Okay, so that's a good question. What we've seen right now with technology, right,
Yeah.
is how can we make the experience the most personalized possible?
Right.
And that's really right now what we're striving to do. Bridge that gap between, we still have those traditional roots, those traditional feels, but really using technology to offer a very personalized experience. So yes, that's helped us a lot, especially because we do have a huge portion of our client base that speaks Spanish only. And then we have, again, as we've grown, we've definitely have a lot of English speaking clients, and also our community is growing. So a lot of our clients, a lot of Hispanic clients are speaking English as well.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. And what about your your staff as well. How has it been for you guys to find staff that can run with that vision of we are here for the community? It's an English speaking and Hispanic community. So what is it like for you guys to have grown your staff? Like tell me what it's been like to grow your staff the past couple of years.
Yeah, so it's we we really look for people who share the same common values as
Mm,
us. Not so much, I know a lot of jewelry stores maybe or just any other business they hire for, industry experience. We actually, a lot of our staff don't have industry experience. Some do, depending on what their position is, but a lot of them don't. We really look for values first, the type of people they are. Do they share this? How are they going to treat our client? Are they going to treat our client the way we're going to treat our client?
mm.
So that's number one for us.
Wow.
If I have a candidate that's very well experienced, seasoned, 10 plus years in the industry, and I have another candidate that, has same values as us, same integrity, is going to treat the client we want to treat them, we'll show them what they need to know in order for them, to be able to,
Wow.
present our jewelry. But we would rather take this candidate first. And a
Wow.
lot of our candidates, a lot of our team members as well, is the best way to get another team member is to have your team member recommend another team member.
Mm.
Uh, and we see that as a good sign. If your team is recommending their friends and family to work where they're working, then they're probably happy where they're working as well.
Oh yeah. That's great. That's a great point. Um, yeah, it sounds like you're more. I think I think the book is Good to Great, and the author says that it's more important about who you have on the bus than like where the bus is going necessarily. And I think, you guys, it sounds like you focus a lot on, if we can get the right person with the right character, then we can teach the skills to be successful here. But like the person, the character is definitely where you guys are focused most, which must make for a pretty fun work environment, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't teach somebody those values. They,
Yeah.
need to have them instilled.
Yeah.
But you can teach them what they need to learn in jewelry,
Oh
right?
yeah. 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 Compassion, empathy, that kind of stuff. It's just like
Yeah.
uh, self-sacrifice, like that's the kind of stuff that just has to come from a deep place inside of you. Um,
I'll give a quick little maybe gold nugget here.
yeah,
So when we were looking to grow our team, because right now, we're looking to scale, and
nice.
our biggest thing is where can we continue to get our I guess the right team members, right? That's where we really want to be sure that we're getting the right person in order to scale. So we, just as well as you do marketing campaigns to sell jewelry, right? We did marketing campaigns to get team members as well. But we found a lot of success even from our own clients, right? So just like we might send out a text saying, "Hey, come to our event," or "We have this special," we also send out a text to our clients saying, "We're looking to hire." And we've gotten many applications from that. Our same clients recommend people, or they might even apply. So we found a lot of success in that as well.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So tapping into your client list to
Yeah.
potentially come and work for you. They've already
They know
experienced.
what kind of person they would
Yeah.
like to be on your staff.
Yeah. Yeah. They've already experienced the value,
Yeah.
and they know what it's like there, and they like jewelry, obviously. So,
Yeah.
wow, that's really cool. Okay, yeah. Hopefully some people start doing that. And because when I first got into this and I was like first talking with jewelers and setting up their marketing campaigns back in the day, I called about 50 jewelers just that were friends with my mom.
Yeah.
From IJO and stuff like that. And I said, "Hey, um, what are the top problems that you have as a jewelry business owner?" And because when you're trying to create solutions for people, you want to know what their problems are.
Yeah.
And so something I obviously heard a lot that we focused hugely on is, well, we need new clients. We need clients to come in. We know, client acquisition, like we don't get marketing, we don't understand tech. And so, that's been my big thing. But the other thing that everyone else said was, oh, it's hiring. Hiring is the hardest thing in this industry. It's so hard to find good people. What's funny is I hear that not just from jewelers, but every industry. I hear that from. I don't think it's just an industry specific thing. So can you tell me a bit about you said how many people do you have on staff right now, and then where is it you guys are trying to, if you don't mind sharing your goals or like what you're trying to accomplish, where are you right now, and then where are you trying to get to?
Yeah, so in the most recent years, I mean, not that long ago, really, I say not that long ago, maybe 3 to 5 years, but with mom, dad, and I, and a few, key members, our aunt as well, who's been with us since, 17 plus years.
Nice.
But we're now at 15 people in store, and we actually just hired somebody, and we're probably hiring one or two more people this week. So we are definitely looking to expand in that. Right now, what we're looking to do is continue to expand with digital technology.
Hmm.
So, I will say that Gemtech has been a big part of that growth as well, because we're able to offer a good experience to our clients. One of the main reasons why we actually dove into Gemtech, uh, maybe this might be another question, but I think this is important because
Sure.
a lot of communication softwares have their CRM, which is like, their where they have all their client base, and they have their communication channels separate.
Yeah.
And we found that to be a huge issue because you might have somebody that is already looking for a ring, or somebody who said, give me a moment right now, I'm going through a hard time. And they're a great client, but they just don't want to be contacted right now because they might be going through a hard time.
Yeah.
And you use these other separate communications platforms that just push out these texts. Um, and
Industry.
everybody gets this. So that was one of the main reasons we found it very important to have our client information, where they're at, where each person at is individually, to offer a tailored, personalized experience, and then to communicate with them, throughout their stage. I mean, it's before Gemtech, we were just sending out text messages to everyone,
Yeah.
and we would get unsubscribes, and we would get good clients, that weren't being communicated with them at the right time and at
Mm.
the right step, right? At the right sequence. So, or a client says, hey, you know what? I'm out of town this Christmas. And then they're getting all these Christmas texts, So being able to not unsubscribe them, but maybe say, hey, they don't want to get Christmas texts, but their birthday is also in December. So definitely call them for their birthday. Just don't, stop sending them Christmas texts. Maybe they don't celebrate Christmas. So, those details were very important. So what we're looking to grow is to continue to offer a personalized experience in order to, because when you have a few clients, we used to have 200 to 300 clients, and it's kind of easy to manage that.
Yeah.
Now when we have thousands of clients that come in monthly, you you really need to lean on technology in order to continue to offer that personalized experience. So that's where we have found that's where we're really growing, right? Is in
Awesome.
offering that personalized experience to our clients as we continue to grow.
There and because I see this in the background. I see how it's being done and everything, and I think a lot of jewelers just imagine that, hey, that sounds great, but it just is way too much work. And so for you, what you guys have found, and I would say, yeah, setting it up actually can be a lot of work.
Yeah.
Figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and pouring the time into making those systems that actually operate properly. It's not an overnight thing that you guys have. Um, Obviously a great team. I mean, what you're able to do is because you guys poured in. You've said, I'm dedicated to making this work and this happen. And you're able to reap the benefits of that. And I think for a lot of people, it's, um, the chicken or the egg. It's like, which comes first? If you want to scale, do I have to make a business? Like, do I have to set my business up for scale right now, or do I do it like once we have too many clients? And what you guys are doing is, I think you guys have set yourself up to scale by having a system that's able to handle more clients than you even currently have. I mean, from what I've seen, and I think that's really amazing. You guys are doing a lot of other interesting things in terms of client acquisition besides just uh, the mechanical bull events, and besides just the really well segmented personalized text messages, emails, the communication that you guys are doing through Gemtech. um what are some other ways that you guys differentiate your store, your brand from a crowded market that's out there? Because I know you guys like your main thing, if I'm not mistaken, is bridal, and or is that would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, we definitely do a lot of bridal as well as within the Hispanic community, right? We have like quinceañera jewelry,
Oh,
which
nice. Yeah.
a lot of other, jewelers don't offer. We have, baptisms, so there's always something to celebrate, something significant within jewelry. So I think
Hmm.
that's really important. Just anything that's a celebration, most people that are shopping, I think with us or maybe at any other jewelry place is they're really celebrating something. So how are you
Hmm.
like, you know, playing into that celebration? How are you giving them that experience? It's kind of like going to Disneyland, right? People go to Disneyland for their birthday. Well, people also go to, a jewelry store for their birthday. So how are you part of that experience? How are you, making that memorable? And that piece of jewelry that they take is really like a souvenir of their experience that they'll remember and wear with them. Most of the time, you ask somebody, where'd you get that ring? They'll tell you a whole story about it.
Yeah. Yeah, they will. No matter who they got it from. Even if it's like, oh, I got this from some guy in a back alley in a country that I've never been to before. They love it. I heard that the other day from someone. And they're like, this is probably a fake stone, but I got no idea and I love it. I'm like, that's awesome. Um, Good for you. And that kind of goes into sorry, we're gonna say something.
No, well, I'm sorry. I didn't maybe answer your original question.
Oh no, it's okay.
I dove into the bridal aspect of it.
It's good. Um, But I was going to say, like, you were talking to me about this before we started recording, which is that your main focus is really creating that customer experience, um, and making sure that the customer and the community is really at the forefront of everything that you guys do, communication wise, marketing wise, obviously. Um, what can you touch on a little bit about how it is that you curate that kind of customer experience besides just, we hit people at the right time and we don't hit them when they're, busy or they're not interested or it's not an offer that's going to actually resonate with them. But what do you guys do? Like, what would be like a part of your DNA that makes the experience different for a person who walks into Don Victor versus a person who walks into, another jewelry store nearby?
Definitely. It starts with storytelling. It starts with the client's story, really understanding. I have clients that come in and they say, I need a gift for my wife. They don't know what they want, right? A lot of times we think technical, like, oh, okay, well, let me find you this, 14 karat gold. That's not where we go, right? Before even taking them to a showcase, before even, starting to open the showcase, we take the time to understand what the client what the client is experiencing, what they're trying to celebrate, what what is the end goal? What is the end goal that they're looking for? So really understanding their needs, sometimes, I say, show me a picture of your wife, tell me how long have you been with her? What are you looking to celebrate? I can tell you I just made an engagement ring for a close friend, and he told me I have 4 kids. I have I've been with my lady now for this many years, and I really want to surprise her, and she really liked this ring, but maybe she doesn't like this center stone. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I get the ring. I say, look, this ring has 3 diamonds on each side. You said you have 4 kids. How about we leave only 2 diamonds on each side? Each diamond will represent one of your kids. So
Yeah.
he's like, oh my goodness, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and then I say, what let's add a nice engraving inside so when you gift his toys, and he's all these things he didn't have in mind, or he wouldn't have known. So it's really consulting that client through that process, that they came in, they just know I need a ring for my wife, I'm trying to get married, but really taking them through that experience is where I would say we would differentiate.
Sounds like you're doing a really good job of making the clients feel like they are the hero. Like you're equipping them with the tools that they need, it sounds like, to be like the hero of the story. Like, oh, you two these 4 diamonds to
Yeah.
represent the 4 kids. Oh, that's so romantic. It's so smart, and
Oh
and
yeah.
you're the one that, you get to be the one that creates that story with your client. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes we even go the extra step to even say, hey, when you gift her these rings, mention this to her, say these things to
oh,
her, go and buy those flowers, get the setup, like how is that proposal gonna look? And they're like, oh, well, I didn't think about it. I just thought, I'd just give her the ring. And I'm like, no, no, no. Make the experience really, really special, really memorable when you give her that ring.
Absolutely.
So again, they would have gone to another jewelry store and just got a ring,
Yeah.
you know, like, and they come to our store and they got something more tailored to them, something more personalized that they wouldn't have maybe, I'm not sure how that experience would have been at another jewelry store. They probably would have said, well, these are the rings we have in our case. Or
Yep.
what do you have? Or okay, show me a picture. What do you want? Okay, you want this? Okay, sounds great. I'll make that for you, right? A lot of jewelers are like, you like this? All right, I'll make it for you. Boom. Let's just go and 3D design this, and and here you go, and here's the ring that you asked for. It's really about going back and forth with that client and understanding the story. So
That must have a lot to do with why you guys have so many good reviews too. I mean, look, you guys are actually like building relationships with them, and um, so do you feel like that creates it's a good recipe for return customers and for referrals as well?
yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, we live off of, referrals, of course. I think that's number one beyond anything. Repeat business, of course. I mean, we have our clients that have came, for 30 plus years and now their kids are shopping with us and their grandkids are shopping with us. I mean, it's really incredible to see. My parents actually started the business in Calexico, which is like near the Mexicali border.
Oh,
So that was 2 hours away from us. And then that store, of course, as I mentioned, burned down. And they went to San Diego, near that Tijuana border. And then that store burned down. Then they came to the Coachella Valley. So we have clients that are still draking the drive to come to us
wow.
from those different places. So it really is, it's incredible. And well, we definitely appreciate the support for sure, and we want to make sure that we are doing our part.
Yeah, sounds like it was all a part of the strategy. All right, we're gonna go here. Store's gonna burn down. Then we're gonna go over here, make a bunch of friends. Store's gonna burn down. No, I'm just joking with you. But it sounds like you guys have carried the same values, for a long time, and that must be something that's just like, key to your family as well. Having those deeper relationships, knowing that there's more to it. I mean, you guys didn't have to keep this business going. There had to be a why behind it. You were talking about that a little bit. What I would love to hear you speak a little bit more about, like, how is it that you pour into the Hispanic community and why you think that's important, maybe for other jewelers. And then maybe just dive into, what is your why behind that? So would you mind talking about that?
Yeah, I mean, we are Hispanics, and we love our community. We definitely see that our community maybe isn't tailored to, they're not getting the best service. I don't think they were getting the best service.
Huh.
Uh, I see them, for instance, to just say, let's talk about big box stores, right? Uh, my community probably wouldn't feel too comfortable walking into a K's or a Jared's or, those big box stores, getting that personalized service,
Hmm.
that, high value service, really valuing them. They may not have a big budget at the time, right? But really giving, treating them like they're spending, 10, 15, $20,000 on a ring when they might be spending $500 on a ring, $300 on a ring. I mean, we used to sell, or we have engagement rings that are $200 to $300. Just if that's their budget, we'll work with it. Uh, we offer payment plans. We actually offer our own financing.
Yeah, that's
To
amazing.
tell you that we have thousands of clients that we finance through our own, bank, which is our in-house financing, because they might not be approved at K Jewelers. They may not get approved at any other bank, but they definitely get approved with us because we build that relationship with them. They may not have credit. They may not have certain documentation needed to get credit.
Well,
So we're there to help them out. We're there to, take, trust them and, offer them to be able to take home, what they're looking for. And, we have payment plans. Our payment plans start at $25 a month. So,
I,
it's very, very, very affordable for anyone. Uh, and, in the recent years as well. So that's really, huge for us, I guess, like really being able to offer The best experience for, you know, any Hispanic looking to shop. Again, beyond that, I know I say Hispanic, but we have clients in every demographic, of course. Um, and but I would say like even in my family, we didn't grow up with money. So so being able to offer that. And yeah, I would say
That's
that's
awesome. And then maybe, I mean, the $25 a month, that's one thing. I remember seeing that when we first started working with you guys and being like, what a game changer here. Because yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that. But when I think of marketing and what works and doesn't work in on social media, as an example, social media, you need it to be disruptive. It can't be the same thing that everyone's saying. Like, we have high quality engagement rings. No one cares.
yeah.
No. Oh, do you? Like, prove? I don't know how you're going to prove that. You have Brilliant Earth. You got James Allen. You got all these other companies that are going to start, throwing their ads down the throats of your potential customers. But you guys come at it from this perspective of, and I'm not saying that the strategy of $25 a month payment plans would work for every jeweler, but I think
Yeah.
what you've done is you've put yourself in the shoes of your client, right? And you've said, okay, this is an obstacle that we're going to have to overcome. They're not going to be able to get these solutions elsewhere. How can we solve this problem for them? Make the process smoother for them to be able to say yes, to get the ring that they're looking for, that they want. So it's a win-win-win situation all around. And I think that's really admirable. I mean, that's not an easy thing. Was it easy to create a in-house financing solution? Was that overnight?
No, yeah, definitely not easy. I say, it was not easy at all. We report. Another thing is that we report to all three credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and TransUnion. That's very rigorous to do. I mean, we submit thousands of accounts a month, and if there's one zip code misspelled or one number missing on a zip code on any account, they don't accept the whole file. But
Wow, really?
not
What?
so yeah, not to get into the intricacies of it, but reporting to credit is also the reason why I bring this up, by the way, is because reporting to credit is also another big thing that we do for community, really.
Wow.
Like I mentioned, they may not have credit. It might be their first credit account. They go apply somewhere denied. They go apply somewhere else denied. And then they come to Don Victor and we approve them. And we report to their credit positively. So they start building their credit. And then it's
Wow.
very nice, when they start saying, "Hey, I was able to, now get my first credit card. I was able to now get a car and ultimately buy a home," which is, the dream. So,
Wow. That's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah, you're looking like years down the road and providing way more than just an easy solution to get an engagement ring for less money. You're looking at this as, how do we help them in so many ways in their lives? That's really cool. I get why you're growing so fast. It makes sense. You put the customer first. You really do, and you guys really care about them. I want to know, what do you think next, say, 5 to 10 years in the jewelry industry? We came out of COVID. That was a big, turnaround for a lot of people. Lost a lot of jewelers. A lot of jewelers killed it. Just have done amazing since then. But, between now and 2030, like, what do you think, or 2035? Are there any trends or anything that you guys, as a team, you're going to be leaning into, or that you think people should be aware of?
I think definitely utilizing technology to grow your business, technology to offer a personalized experience is going to be very, very, very important. I mean, you're seeing all major brands do it.
Oh yeah.
Uh, utilizing AI to, make that experience personal, use those replies. We're seeing that's really where this is going. How personalized an experience can you offer to your client? And as you continue to grow, if you have a couple clients now, you can really do that. But you don't, I think maybe the misconception is, oh, I don't, maybe all these technological advances. Number one is probably, how do I do it? But number two is maybe they're scared to do it. But I would just say really lean into that. It's definitely really important. I do see a lot of jewelers really resistant to technological advances. I think our industry really needs it. They need to
Yeah.
continue. Yeah, they really, really, really do need it. But that's where we're definitely seeing the trends, using technology to offer a personalized experience, whether that's in store But now, how can you offer? This is, I guess, where we have found uh, our growth as well. Is how can we offer that personalized experience that I think many jewelers are experts in
Hmm.
store? How can you now bring that across online, right? Bridging that gap from like that in-store experience to online. I think that's
Right.
the biggest part.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think a couple of years ago, three, five, even still a little bit now, but 3, 4, 5 years ago, everything was e-commerce, e-commerce, e-commerce. We'll set up a digital storefront for your business.
Yeah.
And jewelers saw that as like, oh, well, I've never made a sale online before. And I'm seeing all these like, millennials, these influencers, and they're selling, millions of dollars of jewelry online. I can do the same thing. Look, I've been in this industry for a super long time. Not not privy to the fact that you still have to build a relationship with the person either way. And if you just go straight for like the kill, just straight for the conversion online, that you end up totally missing the point and that people won't buy your jewelry. And so I talk to jewelers all the time who their whole thing has been, oh, well, we tried, ecom, we tried Shopify, we tried all this stuff. And it doesn't, we've been pouring, tens of thousands of dollars into it, just hasn't worked, it hasn't paid off or whatever. It's like, well, what you guys are saying, what I think is much more accurate. It's not about, how do I make more money? How do I just like create an extra channel for myself? But it's how do I reach people where they're at and create the experience that they're used to, with the same high touch, the level of high touch that they would want to experience, in person at Don Victor. How do I do that online? And what are some ways that you think you guys, I mean, you said AI. Is there any particular way that you think you guys are going to be able to do that to create that sort of high level experience that people are looking for?
Yeah, definitely. And you said it 100% correctly. I think a lot of people, a lot of jewelers thinks, well, mine's fine jewelry. I'm not selling this in the masses. I'm not, this is a very unique item
Yeah.
and I just don't want to sell it online. I can't just, ship this to somebody. That's fine. But the customer service is every touch point of your business. It is beyond your four walls now. And that's what we're seeing, right? We're so focused on what's going on inside the store, 100%, right? That is the ground, that is the roots of your business. But now, how can you translate that into a digital era and make sure that every touch point that your client has with you, from just a phone call, from going on your website to how that experience is, from what kind of text messages they're getting, what kind of emails
Yeah.
they're getting. You don't have to email blast, you don't have to text blast, you can do this in a very personalized way where I think like even me saying, oh, I'm sending out a mass text or I'm sending out a text blast almost doesn't even sound right to my own self because now
Yeah.
I know that like, well, I might be sending out 1,000 text messages today, but 50 of them are getting this kind of message. Another 100 are getting this kind of message. So, it really is tailored. And that's really where the customer experience starts, is really online now. The clients are going to be looking you up. They are going to want to know, are you answering their questions when, you're asleep and it's 2 a.m. and they're on Google and they're looking for information regarding your business,
Yeah.
or how fast are they getting those answered, those questions answered? Are they able to get at least a preview of what they may experience? Are they able to book an appointment? I know, Robbie, you're really big on appointments, and
They're huge. Do
yeah,
appointments. You get sales. That's how it works.
yeah, and you know what? I will tell you that we have now shifted as well to being very appointment focused. I will say, Robin, thank you. I know that you've always been, stressing that and saying how important that is. Before we were just inviting clients in, but really offering that goes back into offering that personalized experience. You're waiting for them. They know that, they have a time reserved with you and that
Yeah.
you're going to be available and you're going to be prepared. So we have also now shifted to appointments as well. But I think definitely using technology to be personalized. We're using AI in many different ways. One way is somebody fills out, right? Maybe give time to share a little bit of nuggets here. But
Well, yeah, no, this is great. Write this down. Take out your pen and pencil, guys.
yeah, like client walks into our store, takes a look at a few items, says, I'd like to speak to my wife about this, right? These are common things that we hear, especially because, it is maybe a larger purchase. It is, a bigger decision.
Yeah.
Maybe sees three, four, five items, takes a look at them, sees different price points. So now we go ahead and we document all that information. We take photos of everything that that client looked at, and we press a button, and that client will get open up a conversation where now AI will say, "Hey, thank you so much for coming in today. It looks like you looked at this item, this item, this item. I know that you said, your price range might be XYZ and that you need to talk to your wife. So, if you have any questions from here to then, feel free to reach us." And then it'll auto follow up, maybe 2 to 3, 4 days, and say, "Hey, just in case, you've had a chance to speak to your wife or not," something like that, right? AI will say this. And then from our website, right now, linking our website, we can say, here are a few, options that we suggest based off you were looking at an oval cut, you were looking at, also a radiant. So, we curated 3 to 5 different options for you, and then we send them through text. That is something that we're currently working on right now. We've already started testing, and it's
Awesome.
working very well.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and then they can also now reply, "You know what? I really do like those options. My wife would like to come in with me in store to take a look at them." And they would say, "Okay." AI would respond saying, "What time would you like to come in?" 2 p.m. on a Thursday. Sounds great. And it'll book the appointment for them in our calendar without them having to go in and book an appointment through a calendar link.
Yep.
Uh, so that is something that, again, we're currently, rolling out and really working on to continue to smoothen that process. But, those are things that we're doing right now.
That's awesome. That's really, really, I mean, that's key right there. Using AI, but not just any AI, and one that's going to really improve the experience for your client. I was listening to an interview a couple months ago from the head of personalization is actually his name for Signet. I believe that's his position as head of like personalization, and how they're trying to roll out personalization and like one-to-one personalization for their all of the Signet businesses. And how they're trying to do something sort of like what you're talking about, but I don't even think it's as in depth as what you're talking about. Because Signet being such a massive corporation, I think they're always going to struggle with that type of that one to one. That I think um it's a huge um advantage that a local jewelry store or you have 2 locations, right?
That's right.
So, local two, even just 2 locations, but you guys can have like a true one-to-one experience. Whereas Signet, I mean, all they talk about is how they struggle with creating that and how it's horribly impossible to do so. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. I'll be following up with you on how it's going. I mean, obviously, yeah, for sure.
And,
And
and, and I think you just said it right now, Robbie. Like, jewelers, that's what they praise, right? That's what they all say, hey, the way we compete, the way we're different is that we offer a personalized experience.
Mhm.
That's what every jeweler says. But now, how can you do that digitally?
Yeah.
And that's the next step. That's where we're going. Like, that is the future. And
Mm,
if you can do that, right? Because we can adjust, being very adjustable, I guess, is what's needed, right? Being able
yeah.
to be innovative. If you can do that before these big box stores do, then you will, look very well in the next 5 to 10 years.
That's
Things
good.
look
Wow.
very.
So good. And then you win the customers and then you can keep them for life. And so these big box stores can't get to them. And
Yeah.
so, you get to, oh, that's amazing. Um, well, as we wind down here, what I want to ask you a little bit about like just big picture, your life and where your business kind of like fits into your values. Um, so like when you take your jewelry business and your family's business and you look at it in the greater context of everything else happening in your life, what does success look like for for you working in Don Victor for Don Victor Jewelers? Like what is success to you guys?
For me, it's really the Hispanic community, going back to the Hispanic community and really allowing them to, you know, offer that personalized experience, but as well, I'm seeing, okay, Let me take that's a full loaded question here, Robbie.
It is, yeah. This is a hey, let's get really into it, but yeah, go for
Yeah,
it.
no, yeah, that is a great question. But we are seeing our that at least our demographic is growing. They're one of the fastest growing demographics. So, really being able to offer them, that experience that they're not being offered somewhere else, really, really being able to, help our community like express themselves through jewelry. We're seeing that they're able to, now get these fine pieces that maybe before they weren't able to get, and really letting them like express themselves through the jewelry, have that experience, be happy. That's really where we're seeing it. As mentioned before, we're not really here for, finance. I mean, yes, of course, right? So finances are a must in order to stay in business. But you get to a point where you've crossed that bridge already. You've crossed that bridge. How can you leave behind a legacy? I'm really happy you asked me earlier today, tying things back in. You asked me earlier
Yeah.
today, like how this must feel for like my father, my mother, now seeing their business really where it's at. I That's like, what makes me very happy and feel successful, that maybe when they were that small store really only curating to, they were happy at that time for sure, but curating to a smaller audience, and now being able to reach a bigger audience, internationally, and really, being able to offer this to more people,
Yeah.
is where I'm seeing success, and where I'd be, where I'm happy, right? My why.
Yeah. It's so cool that they're so open to it too, or it seems like they're so open
Yeah.
to ideas, innovation, everything. Because I know that can be a struggle for anyone who's been in business since, say 1990 or the 1980s. Um, because your parents, they started the business in 1990, but they were in the business in the 80s as well, I think is what you said. And so I know for a lot of people, it can be like, oh, well, I just want to do things with what I have. It sounds like your parents have done a really good job of allowing the innovation, allowing the risk, allowing the tech, and that you guys are obviously being rewarded for that in ways that other jewelers just aren't. And so that's that's really, really cool. Um, well, cool. If you were to talk, the last question, if you were to talk to a jewelry business owner who either is just getting started, just a year or two in maybe, or they're just really struggling right now, right? Times are tough. Um, and you were to just give them a little nugget of advice. Here's how you're going to get through this. Here's how you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. What would you say to that jeweler who's looking for some inspiration? Um, yeah, for their career.
Number one, really look at your clients, look at their needs, look at, where you can, offer more value to them. I would say it starts there. A lot of the times I know that we may be distracted with everything going on digitally and everything that's going on around the world, but you more than likely have a client base already, that you can really understand. And if you don't have a client base, right, like if you said for that, Julie, that's just for sure just starting off, really looking into not just how can I not simply how can I sell the most jewelry, because that might be what every big box store is thinking, right? How can we just sell more jewelry? But really understanding, the client, really understanding the community, right? How can you I would say the best way is how can you get involved in with the community? How can you invite the community in? How can you be that community jeweler where somebody feels like, my uncle that owns the jewelry store down the street? That's how your community should feel. Um, and everything else will come, right? Everything else will pour in place. And I think once you see that, you're gonna see the need for why you need a website, why you need to communicate with your clients, in a personalized manner, why you want to offer them a tailored experience. I think, everything else will come once you really look at how you can, be the best value to your client.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, once you just ask the question, what do they need? How can I help them? That's awesome. Thank you so much. And you guys are out, you're coming from the experience, and so I hope this has been really valuable for people. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on. Really, it's been an incredible pleasure. It's been awesome working with you, but also just having you on here, hearing a bit more about the heart behind the Don Victor Jewelers and what you guys have done to get yourself, on the Inc. 5,000 list. 15 employees now, hiring multiple this week potentially. Um, but really just being an inspiration to the jewelry industry in a lot of ways. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your words of wisdom. And for anyone that is wondering, who should I talk to, or who's someone that um, I should look up to or be inspired by, or anyone that's in California looking for jewelry, Don Victor Jewelers, Daniel Cazares is a jeweler that you should know. So definitely make sure that you reach out, that you show them some love. Hey, if people do want to, see what you guys are up to, whether it's on social media or with you, where could they find you?
Yeah, so social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Don Victor Jewelers, should pop up pretty quickly. So, and then we have
Great.
a website, of course.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And look forward to talking with you soon.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Robert. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much for joining today's discussion. To learn more about our guest, you can find their information in the show notes. If you enjoy learning about the jewelry industry and what we're doing here, you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube at my personal YouTube channel, Robbie Haddad, ROBBIEHADDAD. And for a limited time, you can get a free copy of our new book, The Jewelry Marketing Blue Book. It is a definitive guide to growing your jewelry business, your local jewelry business, with new and repeat customers. It's a free, no-cost way to support us and grow your local jewelry business at the same time. And you can do that one proven step at a time using that book. So to get that book, simply go to www.gemtech360.com. That's GEMTEK 360.com. And a pop-up will show up and give you the opportunity to put in your information to get that book. If you'd like to make comments or suggest guests to be on our show, leave that information in the comments section of YouTube. We're going to check every single comment, and we'd love to get feedback and the opportunity to improve our show. And if you'd like to learn more about our company and how our company can partner with your jewelry store and help you to grow by significantly increasing your fine jewelry appointments, just go to gemtech360.com. That's GEMTEK 360.com and use the provided links to hop on a call with us. We'd love to talk with you. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.